Hello, Skizos. How are you? What is that F1 மூவி பற்றின மூவி எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் ஆல்ரெடி என்னங்கிறத போன வீடியோவில் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. F1 மூவி ரிலேட்டடாக வேறு என்ன சோஷியல் மீடியா கலவரங்கள், சோஷியல் மீடியாவில் என்னவா இருக்குது, படத்தோட சினாப்சிஸ் என்ன, இல்லை படத்தோட கிரிட்டிக்கல் ரிசப்ஷன் எப்படி இருந்துச்சுங்கிற பாக்ஸ் ஆஃபீஸ் ரிலேட்டட் ட்ரிவியா இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் சேர்த்து ஒன்றா ஸ்க்ரீன்ஷாட்டில் பார்த்துடலாம் வாங்க. இப்போ படத்தை பற்றி சொல்லுங்கள். இப்போ யாராச்சும் படம் எப்படி இருந்துச்சு? F1 மூவின்னு ஜென்ரலாக போடுவோமா? என்ன மாதிரி ரிவ்யூஸ் வந்துருக்குன்னு பார்த்துருவோம். ஏதோ டக்குனு நான் ப்ளர் பண்ணிருக்காங்க பார்த்துட்டேன் நான். ஸ்பாய்லர், ஃபார்முலா டேங்க். Got lucky and went to F1 movie premiere last night and here are my thoughts, no spoilers. Mega thread, F1 the movie international release. What are your thoughts on F1 discussion? Okay, buddies, Unifil. Fans versus movie fans. First reviews of the movie interesting. 13k votes on 1 month முன்னாடி போட்டிருக்காங்க. அஃபிஷியல் டிஸ்கஷன், மூவி ஸ்பாய்லர்ஸ். இதை பார்ப்போம். ஐ திங்க் இதுதான் கரெக்டாக இருக்கும். F1 the movie with spoilers. Now, if you have seen the film, please rate it. If you haven't seen the film but would like to see results, click here. அப்புறம்டா பார்த்துப்போம். சம்மரி படம் பார்த்தா அவங்களுக்கு புரியும். காஸ்ட்டு, வீடியோ ஆன் டிமாண்ட் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் on July 27. June notify internationally. Later available digitally on Apple TV Plus. Javier Bardem eluted the script in scenes he wasn't. True. The chemistry between Brad and Javier definitely eluted the movie. The little love story brought it down a bit. Javier and Brad should have been the love story. I was hoping Brad was going to pick him up in a car and Javier would sit on the wing as they drive into the distance. One of the interviews in NYC premiere asked Javier about his romance with Brad, and he seemed confused for half a second, and the interview was like, your bromance really is a highlight of the film. Love story was definitely but also I adore Kerry Condon. I'm glad she got plenty of time in the film. She was lovely. She is an Irish Rebecca Ferguson. Also, I like middle-aged actresses getting a shot to be hot in the roles. If this was 15 years ago, the main love's interest would be the girl fixing the tires and Brad Pitt instead. I agree, the whole movie leaned heavily into tropes, which was fine by me. I know what to expect when going to see a Bohemian summer blockbuster. If it has to be the love story, might as well these two. Then again, he does that with every movie. Mahdi does not proclaim he's Mahdi. That's why he's Mahdi. He mimics brain exploding. Him yelling at Sonia and telling him to stay in the tub after Sonia asked if Kate's single got my biggest smile. When he was looking for Brad, knew where to search. Had my apartment. One of the best actors on the planet. Rewatched Collateral recently, and even in small role, his screen presence is outstanding. When he chased the F1 rep out of the garbage, Raj then ran after him, apologizing. My whole cinema laughed. Excellent physical comedy there. As a big racing fan, lots of suspension of disbelief needed to make it through. The story wasn't anything special or new. That said, the racing scenes themselves were so magnificently captured. Seeing it in IMAX had been hours at times. True. As someone who knows nothing about racing, can't elaborate. I'm genuinely curious. Nearly anything Sony did as a strategy would result in repeated penalties. A driver can't just run into other cars or safety cars or red flags on purpose. You could have tried to disguise it, but it was wide open over the radio with a stream that any official would easily know. Back in 2008, a car crashed on purpose to benefit teammates on the way to him winning the race. It was a huge scandal. A backmarker team who has never scored a point doesn't overnight become competitive in a span of 9 races by shaving couple tenths of a lap time either. Other teams would follow suit almost immediately if a part that was that advantageous. Okay. Both are very fast-paced scenarios in the world of fun, but I'm going to watch a movie where dinosaurs come back to life next week. So I'm going to watch a movie where dinosaurs come back to life next week, so it's perfectly okay to include a plot device for entertainment's sake, not knocking them for that. Speaking of 2008, having Hayes deploy the intentional crash and then having Alonso smiled and giving him props in an interview after that. It was incredibly cheeky. Straight loved that. This is me next week too. Yeah, Top Gun Maverick had some very stupid shit in it too, but the action scenes were so well shot. Who gives a shit? I'm going into F1. I expected something similar. Mediocre plot, stupid romance, incredible action sequences. I want to lead with. I enjoyed the movie. Don't want to nitpick, but you asked if a F1 driver tried to do what Sony did in races, they would be banned immediately. The man is an F1 terrorist. I really can't ever cover in this cover, but all the illegality he did in the movie. Intentionally causing a safety car a red flag for strategy purposes is a huge no-no. Google Singapore GP 2008 for an example of the mess it causes. A new team like Apex GP not being able to score points in its first few seasons is completely normal and expected. And expecting that team to suddenly compete for wins overnight is lunacy. As F1 joined the grid in 2016 and still isn't close to hoping for a win. Haas F1, okay. Cadillac is joining next season and isn't hoping to complete win until 2030 at its best. The movie just don't care at all about when and why safety cars and reflex are declared. The premise itself of a driver coming back after 30 years, it's obviously ridiculous. And doing so with no prep on top of that. Completely physically in F1 requires physical prep. Competing physically in F1 requires physical prep that even active drivers of other racing leagues would struggle with. The movie doesn't acknowledge the practice sessions that happen before races and barely acknowledges. நான் இதுதான் எதிர்பார்த்தேன். It should acknowledge the practice sessions. அது பெருசாக ஒன்றும் கண்டுக்கவே இல்லை. That happen before races and badly acknowledges qualifying. Drivers don't just show up on Sunday and race. The race weekend starts for them on Wednesday or Thursday. கிரேட் இதுதான்ப்பா வேணும். இதுக்கு தான் ரெடிட் வரணுங்கிறது. நாலேஜ்ஃபுல் க்ரௌடாக இருக்காங்க பாருங்க. Obviously, the actual racing menus and pace differences are complete nonsense. They've got us beat in that straight, but we can fight in turns. It is so much harder to be faster in turns than on the streets. In fact, it used to be very common for struggling and underfunded F1 teams to intentionally reduce the downforce and turns to gain more speed on straights. It's cheap and easy to do. The movie starts with the 24 hours of Toyota and then Sunny leaves that to join F1. 9 races into F1 season, but 24 hours of Toyota actually happens in January, usually a month or two before the F1 season starts and more. Wow. Calling him an F1 race is hysterical. I know nothing of F1 and got what you meant immediately. If the movie was realistic, they should have shown a Twitter meme of him photoshopped on Bin Laden body with captain. The caption was Bin Nice or something. Hey, யாரா நீங்க இதெல்லாம் வச்சிருக்கீங்க கமெண்ட். We need a scene with Sunny scrolling F1 circle checker. Nah, they should have him scrolling through Formula Dank. The amount of memes that stem from the moment he joins the team, let alone terrorism, would have been absolutely insane. His onboard would have been a Photoshop pointing at twin toes by checkered in angry. What do you mean no prep? They ran around the track as a team. Didn't really like all the strategies, the bumper car shit bullshit. Nobody would watch this movie if the races were 100% realistic. Not even your fans. They would rather just watch some actual real races instead. When Sony won, I felt like I won. That's how impressed I was. Yeah, Kerry, his flying delivery actually choked me up, which I didn't expect. It was so cheeky and trophy and predictable that, but man, did it work. Very Top Gun Maverick, the new subverting expectations, just delivering satisfying payoffs, even if they're expected. The minute he gave the whole I'm flying monologue, I knew it would play out later on, and when it did, I was there for it all. Totally, the second GP was knocked out. He took the lead and sat up a bit and was like, "This is it, bro's gonna fly." Then all this breathing and heart went silent, goosebumps for real. It reminded me of Perfect Lap, a scene from the Forest Ferrari. I just like how they did it. I did want Damson Idris to win with Sony helping him out. But I liked how the roles got reversed and then Idris came in saying he'll win plenty and he wanted Sony to get this. அது கொஞ்சம் சுமாராக இருந்துச்சு என்னை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும். அது ஏன் தெரில, it didn't land well with me. I thought the expectation route would be Sony to admit his time that had come and gone, so he will help Josh win. But to be fair, that was the way it was going up until the crash. So I'm glad it wasn't a chase where his old man Striker was dominating the race. He had to have a lot of luck to get there. It was like Top Gun Maverick, where the mission was successful. We walked out of feeling like we achieved impossible. Looking forward to see what Tom has in store for the next Top Gun after this, the Joseph returning. Did you notice a shot of Chris Hemsworth for a fraction of a second near the start of the final race? Yeah, we did. Definitely noticed Chris. I think he was in his brother Liam. I think yeah, I think it was both. One quibble I have with the fantastic racing sequence is that none of the shots were ever seemed to last long enough. I loved an entire qualifying lap as a single shot from the onboarding camera with the modern editing. Wow. When we finally got most of the last lap at the end of the movie, it was refreshing. Flying scene was sick. My qualm is that all the competitors were completely anonymous. You don't have to be characters, but I would like to have seen a couple cabin shots of their faces. Max flipped Sony off in the one scene. We didn't even know they were shooting a movie, which is pretty on brand. Lewis Hamilton, being an executive producer of F1, lost the final race at Abu Dhabi GP in 2021. Controversial loss in real life and again in the movie to Verstappen like character in Hayes. The moment that played out in the movie, I immediately thought of that race. This is a real lore for fans who watch F1. Would be wild if Hamilton himself who pitched that race to be in movie lore. Was thinking the same when the red flag came out. My only thought was this Hamilton retconning that race in 2021. I told my chief that was not a Hollywood ending. That really happened basically. Also, they played within the rules the entire film. The only part they pushed it was him breaking, but theoretically some could do it in real life too. I was cracking up when I realized that they were going to do Hamilton dirty again in Abu Dhabi. The burnt hands fireball incident was definitely that inspired from Roman Bush crash as well. The movie had the best CG and practical combo I think I've ever seen. Generally looked like actors and Apex were on track with the other cast. I almost forgot I was watching a movie for a second. My hands up on my head, audibly going, "Shit!" That's how the crash felt. I know nothing about F1 racing thoroughly. Thoroughly enjoyed this. In fact, I wish there were less extraneous plot and more racing. My assumption is F1 is putting a lot of money into marketing to a wider audience, given the amount of F1 content I've seen over the last year. So I'm very far removed from someone who would want to watch F1. But even I'd be open to at this point. So I guess it's working. Great. Check out the movie Rush. நான் அதுதான் சொல்கிறேன், யாரெல்லாம் இந்த படத்தை பார்த்து வைப் பண்ணுறீங்களோ அதை செஞ்சு முல்லை போய் ரஷ்னு ஒரு படம் இருக்கு, அதை போய் பாருங்கள். அதை பார்த்தா உங்களுக்கு புரியும் ரேசிங் மூவினா என்னன்னு. Hope that clarifies. I hope it puts some sense to you. ஸோ இதுதான் என்னோட ஓவரால் சோஷியல் மீடியா கலருங்கள் ரேங்க் ஃபார் F1 த மூவி. இன்னொரு படம் ஒன்று ரீசெண்டாக பார்த்துருந்தேன் இந்த வீக்கெண்டில், சுபம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு படம். உங்களுக்கு எத்தனை பேர் தெரியும் எனக்கு தெரியல. அது ஒரு தெலுங்கு படம். சமந்தா அவர்கள் கேமியோ அண்ட் ப்ரொடியூசர் நினைக்கிறேன். அது ஒரு சூப்பரான படம். நான் அதை பற்றி இன்னொரு ரேண்ட் ஒன்று பண்ணுறேன். நான் பண்ணுற கண்டென்ட்லாம் உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்குன்னா லைக் பண்ணுங்கள். அண்ட் இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு give some suggestions or recommendations or criticism, anything, make use of comment section, let me know. இதை பற்றி பாருங்கள், இதை பற்றி பேசுங்க, இதை பற்றி ஏன் பேசலை, இல்லை இந்த சீரிஸ் பாருங்கள். எப்படியும் ஸ்கிட் கேம் இழுத்து மூட வேண்டியதான், அது ஊற்றிக்கிச்சு. ஒரு நாள் எல்லாத்தையும் பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ணி ஒரே நாளில் பேசுகிறேன். அதை தாண்டி வேறு என்ன இருக்குது, இதை பற்றி பேசலாங்கிறத ஐடியா இருந்தால் சொல்லுங்கள். அண்ட் இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு சப்போர்ட் மீ, ஹேட் தட் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பட்டன். தட்ஸ் த ஒன்லி சப்போர்ட் எனி அப்கமிங் வீடியோஸ் லைக் மீ. கூடிய சீக்கிரம் நான் கண்டென்ட் ஒன்றா சந்திக்கிறேன். அண்ட் டேக் பை, see you all, peace out.